Back again. Walk Ons podcast. Another guest, another one of the recent graduates from the Iowa Hawkeye football team. We're sitting down tonight with Tyler Elsbury. Tyler, bro, what's up?
Not a whole lot. Just training.
Same name.
Absolutely.
This is a big podcast. Anytime we can get a Tyler on here, somebody that they don't have to listen to me anymore. Training, you said. How's training going?
It's good. It's going good, man. Definitely different than in college. A little more lax with the rules, but it's been good so far.
Tell me more about that. Describe that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like a soft 8:30 start in the morning, which is pretty nice. You're not stressing to get there before everyone and roll out your feet and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Train in the morning. It's pretty low key. Get to sprint, kind of get your own rest time a little bit, which is nice. You're not kind of on the clock. Get out and do some GPP or conditioning. And then it's just a smaller group. I'm up here. It's probably 10 guys or so.
Where are you at?
I'm up in Marquette, Michigan. So I'm way up north, right on Lake Superior. So
wow.
Everyone else is going to like San Diego, Bahama, like it's all like resorts, and you're going up to like -10 Michigan weather.
Yep.
Oh, dude, I mean, if
they tell me it's gonna make me like Rocky. So
yeah, well, I mean, if I'm a draft scout, like half of my thought process, like, well, this guy, think how tough this guy is. He's going up to Michigan as opposed to Oceanside, California. Like, let's look at these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have to text Luke Lachey back and tell him he's soft for being in LA. Jay went down to like Texas. You chose to go north.
Absolutely.
And it's probably been just as cold or worse up there over the last couple weeks.
Today was better.
Yeah.
But it was like real feel. It was like -25, probably about the same as it was there. I mean, and it's like Chicago because we're on Lake Superior, so we have all of the lake effect in the snow. So like
brutal.
I go to bed and it's like no snow in my car, and I wake up and there's like 1.5 inches.
I will say that down here in Iowa this winter, we've been fortunate on the snow. There's only been, I think, one legitimate snow. How do we end up up there? Is that like kind of an agent thing? That's where.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a weird connection story, but my agent kind of set me up here. Last year, a guy named Cole Spencer trained up here, ran the fastest 40 out of O-linemen. And then the year before that, Jake Witt was up here, ran the fastest 40 out of O-linemen. So, I mean, my agent played college football with one of my dad's like first coaching buddies when they both came out of college at the same time. They got a job coaching together. So they knew each other, got in touch, and my agent was pretty much like, if we've trained the fastest two guys the past 2 years, I think that it's probably smart for you to come up here and reciprocate it. So
hey, that makes sense, Grant. What I'm hearing is this guy's about to run the fastest 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they got that on DraftKings or something? Should I be looking at that?
Can we get some Elsbury prop bets going down? That's hilarious. No, that's great. I think there is something to it, like Grant said. A little tongue in cheek there, but I choose to go somewhere that isn't like all glitz and glam.
Yeah,
and it kind of. I mean, I think they evaluate everything in this process. I wouldn't know because I never made the league, but. But they're looking at all things, character and what kind of decisions you make, and I think they might send out like personal investigators on you guys. They try to find out every single little piece of information, and a guy who makes a decision like that, it shows where your motivation is, shows how committed you are. You're not worried about the fancy Exos facility down in Phoenix, like you just show up, ball out, go to work, head down. Yeah. Iowa guy.
Yeah, up here in God's country, kind of.
Yeah.
All woods.
Are you a woods guy?
I am. I actually come up here. I mean, not Marquette, but Iron River, which is like an hour and a half, kind of Wisconsin UP border. I go ice fishing up here like every winter, so I love it up here. It's nice.
Iron River. That sounds like a place where a lineman would hang out.
Oh yeah. No, you see that up on the draft board, like spends 160 days in Iron River.
Yeah, exactly.
That was who's the guy he's Joe Alt. I remember when he got drafted, he was like in some log cabin. I think he's from Minnesota or so. And everyone was like, well, he's going to be 11 all pros. Like, probably he's wearing a quarter zip, didn't hug his mom. Like, yeah, he's like, yeah, all pro for sure. I've seen enough.
Took a bite of beef jerky, as his name was called.
Yeah.
So you're a big hunter. You're one of them.
Yeah, I just kind of got into hunting these past couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
it seems like the linemen are always hunters. Like,
yeah,
going back to the Paulson twins when I was there, and Shot and all those guys. Yeah. Like, feels like all you guys, like, you're like built like deer. Like, you're as big as deer and bears, and so you just go out and hang out with them in the forest. Like, just seems like that's how it works.
Yeah, I just started this past couple of years.
Okay.
My dad was like pretty big into turkey hunting and deer hunting and stuff when he kind of lived out in Iowa and was teaching out in Iowa.
Okay.
And then obviously he had me and my 4 older brothers. So you kind of stop being able to do that stuff when you have 5 kids running around.
Dude, you're one of 5?
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
All boys?
Yeah, yep.
Your house was chaos.
Yeah, it was pretty electric though.
Your parents hated every second of it, but also loved it. Like how many? We got to dig into that. What was your childhood like?
Lots of sports. Like my dad coached football and wrestling. My mom like coached basketball, coaches volleyball. We all played pretty much 3 sports in Illinois because that's all you can do. But we played 3 sports throughout high school. So we were kind of always at some practice, game, event, whatever. Summers, I honestly don't know. Both my parents are teachers, so they're home, but like watching after us, I don't know how they ever got to do anything fun.
Dude,
but
I don't think they
did. I'm sure we were probably entertaining too.
You were the fun.
Exactly.
Dude, so wow, you and I are really similar. I had 2 brothers. I'm the oldest.
Yeah. Yep.
But both of our parents are teachers, so same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys just had to beat the shit out of each other.
It's like a Monday Night Raw every week at your house.
What's the age gaps we got going on here?
8 years between all 5 of us.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, your parents just decided we're gonna make our lives hell, and we're gonna do it real quick, and we're gonna get it out of the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God, this is incredible. Byron, Illinois.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you guys tear that city down?
I mean, it's far from a city, but that town definitely knew each one of us. Which
the Elsbury brothers?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably see our car on the road, and then be like, oh, there's an Elsbury car. They had it pinpointed out.
How big's Byron?
Not very big. Probably a couple. I think I had 470 kids in my whole high school.
In the whole high school, okay.
Yeah. So I graduated with 100 some.
So it's not like crazy. It's not like Coupe de Jean small, but
No. I'm not. Yeah, not that small.
From the old OBGYN high school.
Yeah,
shout out.
Alphabet High School.
Shout out to Coupe, by the way, for the Super Bowl.
On his birthday.
That's going to be on his birthday?
It's on his birthday.
Jesus, what a year he's having.
Him and Saquon's birthday, I saw.
Yeah.
Really?
I think that's the key to success.
Is to be in the Super Bowl on your birthday?
Be born on that day.
Oh,
like Sirianni's Sirianni in the offseason, just like, how many guys can we get on our roster at once that all have the birthday on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
They just electric. They're just elite. So you, Byron, Illinois, you're a wrestler.
Yeah. Yep.
You're a football player.
Yep.
What, you threw track?
Nope. Played baseball. Dingers.
Dingers, he said. Let's go. Actually, though?
Yeah, actually.
You could hit the thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's go. Wow. What did you look like in high school? Like, you're clearly developed now into a 23-year-old. What did like 16, 17-year-old Tyler Elsbury look like? What was the dimensions on you?
I was probably 6'4", 6'5". Same. I mean, 290 probably. I was probably.
Oh, boy. And you stepped up to the plate and just.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pitched a little bit too. Threw some heaters.
Ooh.
But
I threw.
What was your fastball?
Yeah. Well,
I have no idea.
You know, just-
heard that. I
They didn't have radar. There's no radars.
That's all we know.
There was no guns in radar guns in Byron. They just like, hey, he's
actually,
fast.
yeah, we got a radar gun for my senior year of baseball, but then that was COVID, so I never ever got to like actually
do it. No,
I never actually got to like finish out my baseball career, like whatever. But so I have no clue.
Oh,
tragedy.
no.
I've been throwing just, 75 miles an hour straight
down the
Dude, that's not easy to hit. I mean, I went to like sluggers batting cages. I was struggling. Like 55, like
oh yeah,
little nothings.
I remember in college we went. It might have been right out of college, so like I was peak. This is as fast as I'm ever throwing, and I went to like the state fair, and there's like step up, and I think I hit 72, and my shoulder hurt for 3 days. It's so bad.
That was always the worst.
So the guy plays basketball, football, wrestles. His family runs the town. Youngest of 4 brothers. So what did the 4 brothers, did they go on to play sports in college?
Actually, so my dad, all 4 of my brothers, and my mom all went to college in Cedar Rapids.
Shout out Seth Wallace, baby.
Yep. So, yeah, my dad was there early, 90s, late 80s, I think.
Wait, so he probably knows Coach Wallace.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they know each other pretty well.
Like they knew each other before you ever were a Hawkeye.
I don't know how well they knew. I think they knew of each other.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then so all 4 of my older brothers went there, played football. My dad played football there.
Were they all there at the same time then? Like almost?
Almost, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys!
All my brothers overlapped at least 1 or 2 of the other ones being there.
Oh my God, they got one of the academic buildings has to be like the Elsbury Hall or something over there.
Well, that's our joke, is like COE is like College of Elsbury. So
there you go.
That's what we say in our family. But
my goodness. So they all go to Co.
Yep.
So you were destined for Co. You're supposed to be. What are they? The
I couldn't even tell you.
Is it the Co? Like is it the
Co-Hawks? Yep.
Yeah. So you're Tyler Elsbury. You're a sophomore. You're a junior. You're going to be a Co-Hawk. It's written in stone. This is what happens. And
yeah, then, that's right.
and then how does it go wrong? How do you become a Hawkeye?
Yeah. So actually, I probably got recruited as a sophomore, or started kind of that process as when I was a sophomore.
Well, yeah. If you're 6'4", 290 as a sophomore, Jesus.
Yeah, I was starting varsity football for us. We were a semifinal team. Just started getting recruited. Sean Considine played DB for Coach Barker in like 2004 is when he got drafted and stuff. Well, he was our DC. He came back to Byron. He's from Byron.
I was gonna say Byron sounds familiar. I swear to God, there's 1 or 2
guys.
Yeah,
you guys went. You were probably there at the same time.
Steelby?
Yeah, Reed Steelby.
Steelby is. I knew it. I for some reason I have a weird knack for the guys that were there. I knew where they were from, and I didn't want to say it to sound stupid, but okay. So Steelby was from there and Considine.
Yeah, yep. So Steelby was actually right in between my oldest brother and my second oldest brother in school.
Okay.
So they wrestled, played football together, and everything.
Yeah, he was a big wrestler too.
Yeah. Yep.
All your brothers wrestle?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You guys were just
supplying
the entire athletic department at Byron High School. Jeez. Okay. So you start getting recruited. You remember what that's like for you at a small town Byron, Illinois? Like, what does that actually look like as a sophomore? You're getting a few letters. You're getting
letters, like a bunch of camp invites, like come to NIU, come to Iowa, come to whatever, do our camp, Wisconsin, do our camp, stuff like that. Went to Iowa's camp, went to camp with NIU, and Penn State was there. Went to Wisconsin, did a lot of that stuff kind of summer going into my junior year.
Sure.
Much more so just like coaches would kind of come into school and be there and say hey, and because they couldn't text us or anything at the time, couldn't really whatever. And then kind of when that whatever, I think August 1st is the date, like the date. Sure. That kind of hit going into my junior year, and that's when like TB would call me, or Coach Wallace and Coach P when Coach P was there, kind of called me, and other schools were kind of texting me and getting a hold of me, FaceTiming me and stuff like that.
So that would have been the start of junior year.
Yeah. Yep.
What did that look like as far as over the next year then towards the start of senior year? Like, how many offers did you get? When did Iowa, like, when did all that kind of start happening?
So Iowa was my first offer.
Okay.
And I think I got probably around 15, I'm guessing, in their offers. Mainly just focused on sports, like football. My junior year, we made it to the state finals, and then we played our state championship game on a Friday. Well, that next Thursday I had a wrestling meet, so like I was right after that, right into wrestling.
God.
Wrestled, made it to the state finals for wrestling my junior year, and then like the week after that was indoor baseball practices, so I was just kind of like in it. I came up to like a Penn State wrestling meet.
Ooh, coming up this weekend, I think.
Yeah, this Friday. Pumped.
Woo.
Go Hawks, you know what I'm saying?
Underdogs. From what I understand, I don't really watch the wrestling, but Penn State's pretty good. They like every guy's like in the top 5. So
yeah.
Hawks are a little bit of an underdog, but that's all right.
Hey, we're pretty good.
One, aren't we?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not. It's crazy that they're so far and away like underdogs, and we're the second-rated team in the country. Anyway,
we're gonna get them though. Yeah,
not to interrupt you.
So yeah, came up here on a visit, unofficial, whatever. Got to watch a wrestling meet, hang out, meet with all the coaches. Kind of Coach Ferentz and Coach Wallace would kind of pop into school a couple times during the year when they could, with some other coaches that would. It was actually kind of electric because my head football coach was also my math teacher in high school for calculus. So like, and I always had him for like our first class of the day because we did 4 classes, like the 4 block schedule or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I'd be in class and our Coach Boyer look at his phone, be like, all right, and go up to the phone and like call one of our other math teachers and, hey, can you come into the room like for a second when you're on lunch? Yeah. Another teacher would come in and he'd be like, all right, Tyler, we got to go to the office. You got a coach here to see you. And like my math class, I had like couple of my best friends were in there. So like I'd get up and leave and they were all just like, what? No, why does he get to leave? But
just like constantly giving you shit like,
yeah.
Oh, big guy gets another coach to come see him.
He's just too good for math. Oh,
yeah, guy doesn't need to learn pre-calc. Okay.
He is funny with that actually. He always is like, wow, just because you're good at pushing people, like that's it. And he was actually like, which is funny because he was actually our like stud running back. But
there you go. But there is a little bit of truth to that though. Easily. If you're just good at this one physical thing, you could skip other parts of life. Cool. That's funny. It's funny you describe that as electric, Tyler. It's almost like you knew about our sponsor tonight, which is Eagle Point Solar. Grant, did you know about that?
Oh, it's actually, I feel like it's the opposite of it then, wouldn't it be?
Well, kind of, I mean, electricity, right? How you
sure, yeah.
Your electricity in your home. We'll get back to Tyler's story in a second. But for the first time in 2025, we have a legitimate sponsor on this show. You came on this show, Tyler, and it got more professional.
That's awesome.
So, for this month, a couple other months this year, we're proud to partner with Eagle Point Solar, local to the Iowa community. Offices in Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, and Des Moines. And, I mean, Grant, what do you know about solar power, huh?
About solar? Clearly nothing, if I'm being honest.
I'm here to educate you.
I know that if you're going to get solar at your house, you should go to Eagle Point Solar. Call them immediately. I've always been a huge fan of theirs.
Always. Since the inception.
Right? I've been since I was in the Eagle Point Solar Club in elementary school.
Same.
Big fan. Yeah, we would always just, research what they were up to. It's a great product.
It is. Well, and we're going to actually tell you why it's a great product over the course of the next few episodes. Excited to partner with them, have them as sponsor of our show. Tonight, I'll just sort of leave you with this. We'll kind of give you a taste. They are a local solar community. They're built to really be turnkey in the solar business. They're going to do it all. They build these things, they install them, they're certified. Again, I'm going to get into the details of all of this. I sat down with them actually earlier today. All right, this isn't the first virtual call I'm on today. I sat down for like 75 minutes and got solar educated, Grant. You know how much money you can save by switching to solar?
Yeah, I mean, you should. I have an apartment, but I'm gonna install them like on my patio, just anyway.
Dude, there's a lot of things going on. This company's EPS, I'll call them EPS. They're Eagle Point Solar. They've done over 4,000 installs over the course of them being in business. These things, these modules, the panels, they last forever. Like I'm telling you, I'm dead serious when I say that this is a big partnership and we're excited to be repping them. I'll leave you with this, and this is sort of where I'm going to turn you guys as I do the Eagle Point reads over the next few months. Go to their website, eaglepointsolar.com. Free solar analysis up in the right-hand corner. It's free. If you do the analysis, you give them a full copy of your electric bill, and they can tell you, hey, what's up here? $200 Amazon gift card just for doing the analysis. And they can tell you if you qualify, how much money you could save, what that process would look like, the whole shebang. So shout out to Eagle Point Solar for sponsoring the show and interrupting Tyler Elsbury's story. Back to it now. Okay. So you're getting pulled out of class. Was this the dream, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're 7 years old or you're like 10 years old in third grade and you're sitting there and you have to fill out those dumb things like, my favorite color is I want to be this when I grow up. Like, was that football player?
Actually, I'd probably say I wrote down pilot a lot for that.
Pilot?
I wanted to be like a fighter pilot, but
okay.
Top Gun.
once
Air Force.
Yeah, but once you reach like 6 foot in middle school, you're kind of already out of the scope.
You're out. Disqualified, brother.
Yeah, so
too heavy.
I kind of no, but I think that was more so just like, oh, like what's my career going to be in? Oh,
sure.
I'll be a pilot, whatever. And I kind of played football for fun. That my brothers played it or whatever.
Yeah.
Turns out I ended up being decent at it.
Yeah,
I'd say
a little bit.
So then kind of once I started playing like junior tackle, that's kind of when I was like, all right, I'm pretty good at this football thing.
Nobody can tackle me. I'm probably gonna be.
I'm a monster. Like kids run away.
But then you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder how good of a pilot you could have been, though.
Dude,
it's like, hey, actually, you've seen how good he is at football. Wait till you see him on the flight simulator.
Well, I have a question though, because Air Force has linemen on their team, right? And I know they're not like as big as normal linemen, but they still have to have like some 6'4", 6'5" guys that are pushing the upper twos, 300 pounds. Like they.
Well, not all of them are pilots.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be a pilot in the Air Force. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were all pilots.
No, most of actually a very small percent of them are pilots.
Yeah. Okay. So is that why the whole joke is that they're the chair force? Is because most of them are actually just like sitting at a cubicle, like doing like clerical work?
Well, respect the troops, first of all.
I 100% respect his troops.
But I don't know where the chair force thing comes from. I have no idea.
Okay. All right. So you're not going to be a pilot. You get to high school, you're like, oh shoot, this whole athletic thing might work out. Iowa offers you first offer.
Yep.
Did that mean something to you?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think kind of, at least I'd hope so, that like a lot of people, when they kind of get their first offer, especially when you're not like getting 45 offers out of high school, that's always kind of a special one, I'd say. Like, it's kind of like the, holy crap, like this is for real. I'm going to play Division I football.
Yeah, this
is my opportunity now.
You've got one.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay, well, I'm in. Like at bare minimum, if I don't get anything else, like this is the path.
Exactly.
I didn't have that, but I totally understand where you're coming from. This is the washed up walk on, so the walk ons are disappearing. By the way, they're gone.
But so it was special. My dad's from Northeast Iowa. My mom's from Northeast Iowa, so I've
Northeast, like Decorah?
No, not that far. My mom's from Dubuque, and then my dad's from Lamont or Strawberry Point. My grandparents owned a farm up there, a dairy farm and stuff. So my dad went to Starmont High School.
There you go.
So they kind of grew up Iowa fans. I kind of grew up an Iowa fan. So
when did you finally commit?
I think it was the spring of my junior year.
Okay, and that's 2019.
Yep.
Because your class of 2020.
Yep.
And what was that like? I mean, that's got to be weird.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was good. I think I always kind of knew that Iowa was going to be a spot for me. I mean, you guys know it. Or at least, yeah, you guys know it. KF's the man. The way he talks to you is like a regular person on the street, and that's just kind of how I was raised. Kind of spoke to home for me, so I knew that when I was going somewhere like Iowa, that it was going to be very comfortable for me. It was going to be they're a great program at developing O linemen. I mean,
Sure.
I watched just like Tristan Wirfs that year would have been drafted, So
He's okay.
and he's exactly
Doing all right for himself. Yeah.
So I think it was just the best fit for me, and I wouldn't have changed my decision still. So.
And did you come in that summer, or did you the summer of 2020?
I came in the summer of 2020. Yep.
And that's in the midst of all of the COVID stuff where you guys are like testing every day. Like,
yeah, yep.
Was that it's a tough transition to go from a high school athlete to like a Division I college student and athlete? All of that had to make it more annoying and harder.
Yeah, it sucked. Not gonna lie to you. Like I hadn't been doing anything for 3 months before I got there. Like we were out of school, wasn't playing sports.
Yeah.
I was lifting in a barn to be able to lift. So
lifting in a barn?
Yeah, yep.
Some like one of your buddies just has gym equipment like behind the horse stalls or what?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Like actually? Or?
Yeah, one of my he's
literally asking.
One of my other high school buds walked on to play wide out at Western Illinois. So he was home because of COVID and everything too. And then another one too walked on to play like QB and wide out at Indiana State. So they were home, and then one of our other buddies was playing D3 football at Platteville. So we were kind of all home at the same time. I wasn't in school because they're older than I was. We were all trying to kind of figure out where to work out because the gyms were closed. Couldn't be in a public area. So one of my buddies, his name is Nolan. His dad had like an old bench rack in his basement. We found an old squat rack down there too. Sean Consign had a barn as like a shed out at his place. So we like texted him if we could set up a weight room out there and so we can lift and stay in shape. So we transported all the weights from my basement. My dad was like, well, you better make sure you get all these weights back. And I was like, Dad, I don't think anyone's used these weights in 5 years in the basement.
Cows are going to steal them at the barn.
Yeah. So we moved everything out there, and we started a group chat, and we were calling ourselves the Monks. And we worked out for 3 months, just the fellas out there at like 10 a.m. every 4 times a week.
Dude, so it's kind of come full circle because that's like kind of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'd actually texted that group chat like a week or two ago when I decided to come up here, and I was like, looks like the Monks are getting back in order. Time to kind of lock in, fellas. They're all laughing.
Man,
what's like the most weight you could get up to then in the barn gym? Like, did you have a full set or?
Yeah, we had enough. We had enough.
I was picturing like I don't know, it's like a 3/4 of like a 45-pound plate, like barely hanging on. Like I don't know.
they were we had like full plates and stuff like that.
Tractor tires on once they
that's what I'm picturing. Is like it's kind of built in, like one side's got like a little like farm.
They're just flipping hay bales instead of a tire.
Yeah, and then we like drug in like those black mats that like horses, like horse mats or whatever, and put them on the cement so you could like clean.
Oh yeah,
and stuff. Brought in like a giant speaker.
Dude, I'm jealous. That
it was kind of sweet.
You're literally describing like anybody who likes to just live with the boys. That's just like
it's the dream.
Yeah,
it's the dream.
And I mean, we were all 18, 19, 20 years old, just hanging out in a shed on the days.
just
jamming,
killing 90-minute pump sesh in the barn, and then just slug down like a protein shake, and just we're living, boys. We're living.
We would literally lift for like it'd be like I shouldn't say we'd lift. We'd be in the barn for like 3 hours for an hour lift, just shooting the crap and hanging out, and then it'd be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go home, shower, eat some food. What else are we gonna do today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just hang out.
Yeah, hang out. So we go
man.
swim or whatever. But
That's incredible. So you come in that summer, 2020. You're testing COVID every day. Like, what's after you get through the initial like, well, this is a really annoying process to just even be a part of this right now. What was it like integrating onto the team? You know, that you guys have a weird kind of fall there where like there's going to be a season and then there isn't, and then there is a season, and then you guys play like 8 games. The last 2 get canceled. You got a little bit of football in there though. So like, how was the adjustment?
it was good. Definitely different. Learning college system, learning fronts and stuff like that. You know, in high school, we ran a wing T offense, so it's kind of like,
Oh yeah,
if there's a guy in front of you, bury him. If not, look to the guy on top of you, like a linebacker, and bury him. Like, do what you.
it's real easy. It's real simple.
Real simple. But it was good. Wearing masks that summer to like work out.
Horrible.
Conditioning was awful after not doing anything for 3 months besides drinking protein shakes and lifting. Didn't do a whole lot of running while I was working out in the barn. But yeah, so that was kind of the biggest adjustment, I think, was just kind of getting back into shape and then more so into college football shape. And then that kind of fall camp ish, we were treating it. It was kind of like OTAs.
Yeah.
That was awful, having to wear a mask like inside your face mask.
You had to do that?
Yeah. They zip tied yellow fabric inside your face mask.
Oh my God.
So like I was like looking at linebackers out of like a sliver like this.
Jeez, that's I actually didn't know that you had to do that. That's crazy. That's wild. Any fun welcome to football moments in that first year? Like I don't even know who would have been like the best senior D lineman at that point, but like you get like cross face.
Yeah, there was a couple. Chauncey was pretty good.
Yeah.
Davion Nixon.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good. Going up against those guys my first year was fun.
Was there any days where you found yourself like on your ass and you're like after practice in the dorm room and you're just like, I don't know if this is for me?
No, not really.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. It was more so just like, wow, those guys are the most gifted big men I've ever seen in my life. Like, I got some work to do here.
But you had some grasp of like, okay, that's where they're at.
Yeah.
I can, like you believed in yourself to the point where you're like, I think I can get there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Nice.
That's
a lot more than a lot of guys have. We've talked to a lot of guys on here who ended up being elite. I think we talked to Werfs, and Werfs at one point was like, he was like, I don't know if like I can hang here like his freshman year. So
to be honest, I think it helped, like COVID, like
sure,
practices were kind of spaced out a little bit more. We weren't going as long. It was just different. I think
you got eased into it a little bit.
Yeah, kind of got eased into it a little bit. I was a freshman. Like I wasn't taking like tons of reps against those guys.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, maybe not funny, but it's interesting because you have, and this is probably what I'm most excited to talk to you about, is shortly after that little 8-game COVID season, not just you, but really the class of 2020 offensive linemen, you guys are thrust into like serious roles on the team.
Yeah.
Early. You, Logan Jones, Colby,
Mason.
Richmond. You guys are, I think at one point we did it, but a couple guys leave early, like Lindy, and a couple guys don't work out, and a couple guys have to like medically retire, and all of a sudden that O-line room got thin, and you guys were like, okay, like we're the starters now, like 1 year in.
Yep.
And you even more specifically have this super interesting story where I don't know if there's ever been a guy who's played as many games and snaps as you have, but you weren't like really the starter. It's crazy. And you also play all 3 positions. I'm reading some of these draft things of like this is the most versatile guy in the draft, and he didn't even start for the Hawkeyes. Like where were you at the beginning? What position like did you play? And then how did you get to be like you were the 6th guy for every spot? It felt like you would have gone in a receiver if somebody went down.
Yeah.
Like you're the guy. How did you get there?
Yeah, so I came in, was going to play guard. It was pretty much the only spot I played my whole freshman year. And then even into kind of my first spring ball that year, only really ever played guard. Saw my first game time that year, got to play against Michigan State in an empty stadium, which was, it was fun. It was still cool to be playing like college football as a freshman. You're like, wow, this is pretty sweet.
You guys kicked their ass, so that was good.
Yeah, exactly. Big win, too. And then came into that spring ball kind of after Lindy left, Shot left, Cody left, all those guys. That's kind of the year we were going to be really, really young, kind of all had to play. And then that spring ball was kind of the first time I started playing center. Moved inside to play center. Logan Jones was playing center. I was playing guard.
Just because like they didn't have anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like, all right, we got to find new centers. So they're like, all right, Logan and Tyler, you're up.
Yeah, pretty much. I had never snapped a ball before, ever. Always played tackle. I played tackle at Byron in the wing tee, and then came in and played only guard. Never snapped. And that kind of spring ball was like, all right, we need you have to play center. Like
you gotta learn this.
Yeah. So stepped in. First practice was not great at all. Snaps high, low, left, right, bad. I mean, just bad.
Was that a tough next day in the film room? I mean, even though that like they're not expecting you to have it down, was it just tough to walk in that day and be like, wow, this is gonna be horrible?
I think it was honestly worse on the field because like it was just like messing up the tempo of practice.
Sure.
And then how KF gets in those moments. He's just back there yelling, and you're just like, oh god,
run it again.
Yeah,
run it again.
You're like, oh, this is all on me, guy. And I feel so bad because it's like our 4th 23B in a row or whatever.
Oh, fullbacks are looking at you like, what is going on, dude?
Yeah. So it was definitely not a easy transition to start. Then kind of started getting the hang of it. Logan turned out to be a heck of a center.
Hell yeah.
And I could still play guard, so I moved back out and was playing guard. And that was kind of where I was. I was playing guard, rotating in with Bo and Connor. Played in Jennings at the time, was playing guard there too. And then kind of the plan was that if Logan ever went down, I was sliding right inside to play center. So, I mean, that was kind of that. And then the year after, so my 3rd year was kind of the first year where I moved out to tackle a little bit in practice. Kind of only did it as like an emergency. Like,
sure.
It was more like in Devo reps, like, hey, like, let's try at tackle, see how you look, whatever. Turned out to be pretty decent at that as well.
I mean, you played it in high school, like you were there in high school. It was different, but like.
Yep. So kind of then I started kind of playing tackle in practices, and that was kind of a spring ball where we were really short on O linemen in general. I think a couple guys were having surgeries. Older guys were leaving. Younger guys weren't quite in. I think there was probably wasn't even 15 of us in the room in that spring ball. So I was just like, I was playing like rotating at first team guard, playing second team center, and then was like doing 3rd team tackle sometimes.
Oh my god!
And I was just like going through the grinder there for that spring ball.
Did your body hurt?
Yeah. That was probably honestly the only time where I was like, wow, if I have to do this continuously, I might not make it.
It was you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel there because it's only 15 practices, but like I got to imagine like at practice 6, you're like, dude, I don't know if my body will hang in for this.
Yeah, and you're not like in super great conditioning shape either.
No.
For spring ball. So it was really just like I'm dying out here. And
Somebody
like,
get me a shake.
Yeah, I was like, if I go into fall camp and it's 95 degrees and I'm doing this, like I seriously might not last a full practice.
Yeah.
But got to fall camp, kind of stopped playing tackle. Went more so guard. Was rotating at guard. Had a transfer come in. Rusty played with us. Rotated with Rusty. Bo again. Kind of went through the season. Mason actually ends up getting hurt. I think that was this year, same year. Could have been year 4.
Sure.
Yeah, I have no idea anymore.
It probably, dude, your career specifically being all over the place, just, like where you played in this game versus this game this week, it has to all just blend together.
Yeah. So ended up being like Mason got hurt kind of earlier in the year. Nick DeYoung was playing tackle, was rotating, and Jack Plum, I think that was this year, was playing tackle. Nick and Jack were rotating. Mason was kind of the starter. Well, actually, I think Nick got hurt first, so it was just Jack and Mason. We didn't have any other tackles, so I was like kicked out to tackle in practice.
Yeah. So by this time, you're basically like, they're like, okay, Tyler, you're
like if someone it turned into like all right, Tyler, like we really can't play you a whole ton in game because if one person gets hurt,
you're the guy.
You're the guy that has to fill the spot. Like,
it's unreal, dude. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and it was kind of like it was unfortunate, but also like a blessing in disguise now where I can. Because at the time I was pissed. I was like, well, like I just want to be playing.
Yeah, I imagine it was hard because
I didn't quite understand it yet.
Everybody wants to be the starter.
The guy. Yeah.
You're like, just give me a position and let me be the guy there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy who fills in for everybody else, but like, dude, you might be the most all-time selfless player in all of football. You chose to back up, be the first man in for offensive line at every position. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like to me, it's normal. That's the thing. Like for me, I'm like, yeah, but like, and then like I like go in, I'll talk to Coach Burnett, and he's like, do you like? I don't know if you understand. Like, I've never been able to coach someone that can do that. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
And I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, you're just for you, it's just you, right?
Yeah. So then, so back to it. We're at 2 tackles. Well, then Mason ends up getting hurt. I think it was like the week in Purdue. Or the game before that gets hurt. So like all week, I was like left tackle, was practicing starting left tackle. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is gonna be. And I think George Karloftis was on the team at the time.
Yeah,
so I'm like watching film, wasn't super confident. It was like, this
might be fair. There wasn't a lot of guys that were confident on the other side of Karloftis, but it
was just like this might be just the absolute detriment of my career here if George just picks me apart.
Yeah.
Practiced all week. Friday was taking reps. Mason tried to go, couldn't really go very well on Friday. It was an afternoon, like later afternoon game, I think like 4:00.
Yeah.
So wake up Saturday morning, Mason's getting treatment and was like, it feels really good today. Like I'm gonna try and go. So didn't get to start. Mason started. And so I was just kind of like on the sideline the whole time. Like at any second here, I might be in no tackle for this. And Mason, props to him, tough through it. I think at the end of the year, the diagnosis was like he broke part of his leg and played through it for.
That's what came out, I think, in the media. Like we learned that he played with a broken leg. Yeah. And
I mean, it's like absolutely really tough from him. Props to him for that. Like, and he didn't really tell any of us. Nobody really told any of us what was actually wrong. We kind of all just knew it was like lower leg. But so he came in, toughed it out, played that game. But that's kind of when I started first playing tackle. And,
unreal.
And I was pretty good at that as well.
So, I mean, just crazy. All of that is crazy. A lot of it is due to, unfortunately, a lot of injury. Like guys going down, guys being banged up, which is and has been a huge contributor to some of the inconsistency of the O-line from that 2021 season.
Yeah, absolutely.
it felt like a lot of times you guys were close,
Yeah.
and then somebody would get shuffled around because someone got hurt or something would happen, right? And I know nobody knows that more than you guys. You're in the room, you're watching the film, you're playing the games. And you guys took a lot of heat too over. I mean,
yeah.
I probably said some dumb shit about you guys, about how you guys are soft and like can't block. You know, I probably said something dumb like that multiple times. Nobody clip anything and bring it out. And obviously that's not the case. You guys are busting ass in there. I know exactly what that looks like. I saw every guy that I played with like do that. They're giving their all. They're not trying to lose games. They're not trying to blow assignments. But you guys went through sort of a little trial by fire there for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
And then this year you guys break through.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
It was kind of like a finally moment. Like you said, like we've been in the room and we're like, if we can just like clean up the smallest of details, like we're going to be absolutely humming, like, and not just humming, like we could be one of the best units in the country. Like, and we're not far at all, but like we have to work towards it. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of our whole off season, this past off season. Kind of started in winter. Like we were like, all right, early met as players and we're like, listen, like if this is what we're going to want to do, like we're going to have to start pushing each other like pretty uncomfortably. And like, we're going to have to start working like we haven't before. Like that's kind of what we started doing. And then so just kind of like to see the fruits of that labor was pretty awesome. I mean, it helps having KJ back there. Like he's absolutely electric as a running back too. But yeah, I mean, but we're also a big part of that. Like,
absolutely.
He was there the year before and we didn't have that production. So
how good does it feel to open up a hole and watch him spring for 60 down the side? Like,
it's pretty sweet. You just get amped. Like I'll never forget like the Nebraska one. That was just something that I've never seen before.
Crazy.
And I mean, won the game right there for us. And just a special play in Iowa history, but
probably, I mean, not probably. It's the play of the season.
Yeah,
and I'd put it up there with many over the past couple decades. Like that's pretty sick. Crazy. The you learn a lot through that, right? Like, not only just you physically maturing from 18 to 23, but you guys going through that trial by fire, learning a lot of lessons of we're trying to push this thing through. It's right there. We're so close. What is Barnett saying, and how has Coach Barnett helped you guys in that room over the last 3 years? He took a lot of heat as well from the outside for a long time. And I don't, we haven't really heard from him on the outside kind of stuff. People kind of thought just because you guys were a depleted room, you were young for a while, they're like, oh, this is Barnett's fault. And from what I hear from the players, this dude's elite. Like, tell me about him.
Yeah. So when he first kind of got here, obviously young room. I mean, we were all in our first, second, third year in the program. I think Nick or Jack might have been, they were the oldest two in the room.
Sure.
Kind of that the year after Lindy and them left, kind of when we started, it was his first season with a new kind of full line. Mm-hmm. I think Jack Plum was the oldest, and then it was Nick, and Nick was a third year. And we were all, I mean, just young. I mean, when you're around a bunch of young 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, a lot of us are immature coming out of high school.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that for sure in our room at the time. We were all young, inexperienced, probably pretty arrogant and unaware of actually how bad we were at the time until the season kind of came around. But yeah, Coach Barnett's the man. He was just kind of started off preaching more so just like we got to get this room to where it needs to be and where it should be as an Iowa offensive line room. we got to get young guys like ready to play. You guys got to grow up faster than you probably should have to in this situation. But like that's what we're dealt with, and there's no excuses, and we're gonna get it done. And he, I mean, like you said, he took a bunch of heat, but never ever carried that into the room ever. Never ever carried any of the outside stuff into the room. Didn't mention it one time throughout these past 3 years. His kind of words to us has always just been like, listen, like we got to get better at working and practicing, and we got to get better at, being men and growing up, and everything else will take care of itself on the football field. And I think you obviously saw that. And I mean, now we're all 22 years old or older, younger, whatever, but we're way more mature, way more, put together as an O-line, way more experienced. And that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
And he was just definitely the leader of that, of all of us growing up and getting better at being O-linemen.
It's good to hear from the inside too. Because people talk on the outside, and to quote KF, they don't know shit about shit. Okay.
Exactly.
And we're a part of that too. We don't know shit either. But yeah, from the outside, it was fun to see. And it's got to feel good from the inside too. So now here you are 5 years later, and you're looking at the NFL draft. And like I said, like there's articles about you, man, where you're like this could be a sleeper pick for the league. How does that make you feel, especially after all the work you put in? Like, and you're like not the starter, but you're the guy that you fill in for every other guy. How's your confidence levels as you train here, approach the draft, pro day? Like, what is your gauge on like how real of a shot do you feel like you have at like going and doing something special?
Honestly, I think my confidence is probably the highest now than it's been the past 5 years of being at Iowa. Like you said, I haven't really been a starter. I haven't started full seasons.
It feels like you have. I mean,
yeah,
to me,
it's weird. It's weird to say because I've definitely played meaningful games. Definitely played very meaningful snaps. I have starts like Big Ten play, but like I wasn't one of our starters. So I was never like the five. But looking back at it now, like Logan next year is going to be, if not the top three centers taken.
Yeah.
Like you have Mason, who most starts ever for Iowa as an offensive lineman.
Yep.
Connor was a 4-year starter, true freshman to senior, and was whatever. I saw something like PFF guard. He was top 10 on the season.
Yeah, I mean it's quite the.
Yeah, Jennings was tackle number 2 this past year, and
a freak.
Yeah, I lived with them this past.
Oh my God, what was that like?
It was awesome. He's the man. We went to high school 40 minutes from each other. So.
Oh shit. Did you wrestle him? Was he a wrestler?
I did wrestle him, but I was a junior and he was a sophomore, or I was a senior and he was a junior.
I mean, he's got to be horrible. Like you see him across the mat, you got to be like, God damn it.
He was like, it was weird because the year before he wrestled one of my buds who was 220. Yeah. And the next year we come around and he's like 270, 220, like not the same dude. And I was like, what happened?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what happened, dude, but that guy is an animal, like an actual creature.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we just have, and like Bo Stevens is a great football player too. Like people, I think he's probably one of the most underrated in our room.
Sure.
But he's a really good guard. I mean, very, very physically dominant. Like you watch film, like he's gonna hit someone and he's gonna drive people off the ball.
Yeah.
And like I tell people this all the time, like next year when all 6 of us are out and like we're all gonna be playing somewhere in the league. Like
hell yeah.
Like it is what it is. Like I was behind great players, great development went on in our room.
Yeah.
And I went down to the CGS Bowl 2 weeks ago.
All out.
Yeah, played all 3 position and one-on-ones. I don't think I lost a rep. Like
Let's go.
And that was kind of part of it. It was like I've spent 5 years kind of in and out of the lineup, playing in and out. Like, yeah, I'm a good football player, but like, am I great? Am I really going to be able to, translate? And then I kind of go to this event, and like, I was like, it definitely wasn't Wyatt Black across from me in one-on-ones, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
I saw a couple clips of him at whatever bowl he's at, just dominating dudes.
Yeah. So like, and that's kind of the thing is like, I have such a small scope, but of like my playing time against great players.
Yeah.
That's the thing. All my playing has been against great players. Like, so when I go against other great players, it's nothing different.
Sure.
Necessarily. Yeah. So I played balled out at this CGS thing. I texted Coach Barnett kind of right away, and I was just like, wow, like, thank you. Like, I don't really know what else to tell you. Like, I didn't understand. And he's like, yeah, like, just ass kicker, keep working. And I was like,
oh yeah,
wow. But yeah, I mean, I think my confidence is highest now. Definitely helps. I can play all 5, and I showcase that. I never really got to showcase that in season. I think I played 1 game at tackle, and I think it was like my 2nd year.
You've got all of this, like, this is all going to pay off for you in football, right? You're going to play hopefully a lot more games for a lot more years. But I'm telling you, when you're like 30, like you're my age, or like when you're like a father someday, like the character and the traits that you built filling the role that you did over the last 4 years are so invaluable, dude. I'm like, you are so set up for life. It's incredible. Just like the ultimate team player. And it's so admirable. So sick.
I've had those conversations with Coach Barnett, because when I'm done playing, like, I want to coach football. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't ever want to leave this sport. It's the best sport in the world.
Oh yeah.
And he tells me that all the time. He's like, no matter how long you play or whenever you decide to stop playing and whatever, you're going to be an absolutely incredible coach just based off of these 5 years at Iowa. Yeah. Like, your experience and what you've gone through and everything, like, it's just going to absolutely set you apart from everyone else.
I am in full agreement. G-Bone, you got any questions before we let this guy go?
Yeah, I just one thing. I have to hear about you grew up with a milk fridge. What is that? How many? What is like our quantity in there? What kind of like? Just tell me everything there is to know about a milk fridge.
Yeah, so we got a new refrigerator for our house one year. Put the old one just right out in the garage. We went through a lot of milk in my house.
How much?
Yep. So I think there was 1 week my mom counted with all of us home, and it was somewhere between like 14 to 18 gallons a week.
See, you're actually, I don't know if you how much you know about like Levi and Landon Paulson, but they came on here and they're exactly like you, except they're twins. Unless I don't know, are one of your brothers a twin by any chance? No. But dude, they're really like in the woods and drinking milk was like 30 minutes of when they talked to us. But go on, sorry.
Yeah, so we had a full fridge in our garage. The freezer was pretty much full of like butchered meat, like cow that you go get from a butcher. And then the fridge part was just like strictly milk. So that was because if otherwise we wouldn't be able to put any actual food
in your fridge.
Yeah, our fridge. We'd just be.
What did you guys eat? Like,
I mean, we all had cereal for breakfast.
Hell yeah!
I'm not talking like a China bowl. I'm talking like we would grab Tupperware bowls,
like a mixing bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we'd grab.
How many boxes of cereal did you guys go through? I mean, it had to be.
I have no idea.
Okay, what's the cereal of choice?
I know. Yeah, I know teacher salaries aren't the best. My parents are both teachers. My wife is a teacher. It's okay money. It's not enough for what they do because they're saints, but
yeah,
it's hard to buy 46 boxes of cereal a week.
Yeah, favorite cereal is probably Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Just good choice.
Electric.
Classic choice. Yeah.
Great choice.
Did you guys go through like 1 million eggs?
I've never asked that actually. I don't know.
You have to ask your parent. Like, get the stats.
Is there? Did you go through enough to justify a separate fridge for just eggs?
Egg fridge.
Okay.
Because it was mainly cereal for breakfast before school and stuff.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice. But then, are you housing milk as soon as you get back from practice in high school, or like how? Like, I'm curious, how much milk is Tyler Elsbury drinking in a day?
All right, so I'd have like a bowl of cereal with breakfast, and I'm talking like a big bowl of cereal,
right?
Like definitely a few servings. You know what I'm saying? Like it was not a 1 serving bowl.
Sure.
And then like at school, I'd have a couple chocolate milks with lunch.
Yeah.
Easy. And then, after school, I'd run home before practices. I'd probably make like a PB&J or whatever, but I would always have a glass of milk.
Okay.
And then like dinner, like at the end of the night when everyone was kind of home from practices, my mom's like kind of go-to was like tortellini and pasta.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we'd all have a glass of milk.
Glass of milk.
Or
Okay.
2. I mean, you know, I don't know. That's just what I've always done. And that's like, I come to Iowa and everyone's like, you like drink milk? Like, just a glass of milk? It's like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
You never mix it up and go like chocolate milk or anything?
No, 2%.
2%. Okay.
How many like Fairlifes were you putting down or Core Powers? Were you big? Did you like those?
Yeah, I was always kind of on the heavier side though, so I didn't drink a ton of.
So you were trying to watch it.
Yeah, you know.
I feel you.
I didn't need those calories.
Yeah.
I said, were any of those 15 offers you had in high school? Michigan, I know like Jim Harbaugh, all he does is like he's similar to you. I think he's drinking like 10 glasses of milk a day.
No, I didn't have any huge offers like Michigan or.
So I could see him just seeing across a spreadsheet like he's drinking how many glasses of milk a day?
Yeah,
we have to have this guy.
Yeah. Offered.
Well, I'm glad you ended up at Iowa regardless, though. That was.
I am too.
Yeah,
I am too.
I guess last thing is how excited are you to be on the Denver Broncos coming up? How excited are you about that?
It'd be awesome to play with Riley again, that's for sure.
Okay, good. That's
Grant's a big Broncos guy.
I know. I got it slid up the PFF board. It's just all the Iowa boys getting like Lachey out there. You know, Caleb. Just fix the whole team.
Lachey has been balling out right now, I guess.
Oh, did you see that video of him on Twitter? I don't know if you're on Twitter or not, but oh my goodness,
I am now. That I'm not at college.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Yeah. Keeping all the distractions at bay.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for sitting down with us. This is exactly the kind of episode we like to do. Just get the barn lifting stories and the milk this is why we do this. And you're a guy who, you know, especially linemen who are oftentimes like they don't get the credit that they deserve. You get to come on here, talk about your story, talk about how you made it to Iowa City in the black and gold, and we're just thrilled that you sat down with us and let us tell your story a little bit. So thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Good luck this spring. You'll end up somewhere and you're gonna kick ass wherever you are.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Everybody, thanks for listening. Tyler Elsbury. Got to know another Hawkeye today. We're going to try and keep getting these guys on and pumping out the content. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.